There we go. One out here in the top of the second. St. John's Country Day and Bartram Trail scoreless after one inning. And at the plate right now for Bartram Trail, Jonathan Hendy. They check up the swing, and he'll take his base. So it's a one-out walk for Hendy, the senior for Bartram Trail. And that'll bring up Kalen Pokel to the plate. Bartram Trail threatening that first inning, Casey. Couldn't get any across. Left runners on second and third.
It's never what you want, especially in the regular season, but in the preseason, you like to get a little preseason RBI action going. But back with another runner on base early in the inning. Ball gets away from the catcher there for just a split second. No advancing, though, but especially when you're playing a team that's this good, when you get those runners on base, you got to take advantage of it. Jack Enzel, by the way, is your new pitcher for St. John's Country Day. Not sure if we got that across to you with some stuff we were working through, and if you were wondering, another guy in the bullpen for St. John's Country Day. So we might see the incredible 7 pitchers in 7 innings tonight, and that would be worth the price of admission alone.
Yeah, well, we could. That's what happens in the preseason, depending on how many arms there are. Tom Lucas comes out and wants to talk a little bit to his right-handed pitcher, and Jack Enzel has good stuff. Throws downhill, big body. And one of the arms that they'll rely on here at St. John's Country Day. Now, this is a team, by the way, coming off a little bit of a remake off the last couple of years where they were sensational. They're top of the lineup. They lost to Virginia, Florida State, and UNF. And you're talking Virginia and Brad Hodges, who was the best player in the area last year. Jordan Taylor, who could have easily been a draft pick and gone pro, but he's at Florida State now, second in the lineup. And I really think maybe the guy who had the best high school career of anybody else in that on that roster over the few-year period. That's Finn Howell, who's now at the University of North Florida and opens up. All those guys opening up this week at the collegiate level for their respective teams.
Absolutely, and difficult to replace a guy going to Virginia or anywhere, really, so. When you have seniors that graduate and move on, especially going to those big-time programs. But that's where coaching becomes a big part of this, and that ball is smacked, Brent Martineau. We might have something, and we do.
It's gone.
That is a dinger.
Kalen Pokel. Home run derby for him. He wasn't invited to that home run derby, but he gets himself involved now.
He's upset about it. They should have had him in there because that's a big fly in the game, and that's when it counts. Inside pitch, turned on it. Souvenir City. Good try, though, by the way. Left fielder.
Yeah, it was a good effort out there in left field. This is not a deep park, and so even those fly balls, even if you don't think you got it, you might have had it, and Kalen Pokel's got it. A 2-run home run for the first couple of runs on the board. The Bartram Trail Bears hit a couple of home runs the other night as well. Colt Myers and Jacob Kendall, they had some long balls in that game against Oakleaf on Monday night, and they get on the board with a 2-run homer from Kalen Pokel. Again, that Pokel name familiar here at Bartram Trail, but if you know the Pokel name, you might be thinking about Kalen's brother, Ashton, who is at Tampa now and was the ace of the staff over the last couple of years at Bartram Trail. And I don't think Ashton hit it like that.
No, and I'll tell you what, his brother's keeping the name alive just in the batter's box. Holy cow, what a start. Now, I'm sure if you ask him after the game, he'll probably say it's nice to hit one out, but it would be nicer if it was in the season opener and not in the preseason.
That ball blistered to the right side and off the shoes over there. I think of J.D. Hay. That thing was ripped.
Going the other way when you're the right-handed hitter, you got to appreciate it, and that thing was ripped. Going with the pitch that's outside, a tough play for the first baseman there. I know from experience I've missed a lot of those plays. I wouldn't have even gotten anywhere near it. So shout out to him for at least getting in front of it the best that he could.
Trying to catch a number over there. Is that Jonathan Bay? I believe it was. 17, John Bay, yes.
You know, Brent, it's been a minute since I've been involved in the high school baseball action. I know you live it. I don't remember in the history of baseball that I played throwing over to first so many times. In the 2 games we've seen today, it's been throw to first consistently.
Well, I think that's because you just didn't control the game very well, Casey.
Could be. It could very well
Maybe
be
you
that.
should have.
Yeah, that could be part of
I don't
the
know
reason.
what the steal percentages were out there in old Palmetto.
Listen, a lot. We didn't throw nobody out.
Hopefully his coach isn't listening to that.
Yeah.
Hopefully he is.
Hopefully he is. Yeah, in fairness.
Brent Martineau Kasey Kuhrts, having some fun here as we kind of test this thing out. So we appreciate your patience, and hopefully it's coming across okay. I know we've got a little bumps in the road out here with the service, but we are trying like heck here in the preseason. So maybe we can do a little bit more of this as the season goes along with Action Sports Shacks and ESPN 690. Bartram Trail and St. John's Country Day. We've been out here all afternoon with Brent and Friends on ESPN 690 and overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton. And now just on the stream side of things with our channels on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and Twitch. On the radio side tonight, it's Florida State basketball in ACC play. Bartram Trail 2-0 lead here in the second inning as they score 2 runs on a 2-run home run by Kalen Pokel, and then John Bay rips one to the right side, and he's on first, and he might get back picked. It was pretty close over there.
I'll tell you what, Brent, this game now especially, but in the game we saw earlier with Oakleaf and Columbia, I am extremely impressed with the catchers. Like, I mean, any opportunity given, they're trying to make a play at first or second, a back pick, even throwing guys out. We saw Columbia do it multiple times in the first game today, but just the movement behind the plate, the arm strength, I'm extremely impressed.
That's a 2-1 delivery and a swing and a miss by Ty Seibert, sophomore for Bartram Trail at the dish right now. Again, Jack Ensel on the hill. First inning of work was Jacob Thomas.
How do you feel about hoodie under the jersey?
Yeah, it's a popular look these days.
I like it. Maybe not the color choice, but I like it. Black hoodie right there, that would be perfect. Or maybe secondary color, that would be disgusting.
Listen, kids, there'd be nothing you want more than style advice from Kasey Kuhrts.
Listen, I'm just saying, I think there's potential here. Maybe the execution we'll have to work on a little bit, but listen, this is a young fella. He's got a couple of years to go. When we're calling this game senior year, this guy will be styling out of his mind. He'll be swagged out like you won't even believe.
We've seen a bunch of 3-2 counts early in this game, early an inning and a half in. 3-2 for Ensel working against Ty Seibert. 2 runs in here in this second inning on a 2-run home run. Just cleared the left field fence here at St. John's Country Day by Kalen Pokel. John Bay at first. He had about a step and a half lead, and to your point, Jack was going to make sure he didn't go anywhere.
Listen, we're going back over. You do what you got to do. Control the game, as Brent Martineau said. Listen, it's not that I'm not a fan of it. I'm just not used to it. The game must have changed a little bit in the last few years.
Here's a 3-2, and just misses outside. Ensel wanted it. St. John's Country Day wanted it. Seibert took it, and he made the right call. First and second now, 1 out here in the second.
I don't blame him for one that on the mound, you know. But, hey, that's why they're not paying me to be down there, and they're not paying me to be up here. So, pitch looked good, though. That's what I know.
The moral of that story is no check for Kasey.
Yeah, but that's okay. It's for the love of the game, folks. That's why you're watching.
Jacob Kendall comes to the plate. He walked in his first at-bat. 1-0 here in his second at-bat. The Florida commit, sophomore. Played a bunch last year as a freshman. That will usually pay off in this second season in the high school ranks, get adjusted to it.
That sentence you just said was incredible. He is a Florida commit as a sophomore. Just think about that.
Well, that's the one thing about Bartram Trail, loaded this year, again, with top-level talent. They have 3 Florida commits. They have a Florida State commit, and their other commit from going Division I in the A-Sun to Queens. And there'll be many more, by the way.
I think we got time before the pitch there.
Last year now, Bartram Trail, this is a little different team. They had 17 commits at one point on their roster and made a nice run deep into the playoffs and won the district. But obviously they've lost a lot of that talent. They are dispersed all over the place at different levels of college ball, and they were so deep, and I really think that was a big helper for Bartram Trail, along with the frontline talent, to be as deep as they were. And that probably will be the question this year for Bartram. Can they get some depth and back up some of their top-level players who you expect to do big things here in 2023? Kind of like we were talking about with St. John's Country Day. They're going to have to find some guys to step up, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, you will have to find those guys, and as we look up and down the roster here, not a lot of seniors. You know, they got a lot of juniors and some sophomores that they will need to contribute. Obviously, one at the plate right now with a 1-1 count on him with 1 out here in the second. But, yeah, I mean, you got to find those guys to step up, and that's the opportunity that I think you're desperately wanting if you're a young player.
Jack Hensel with a nice pitch on the outside corner, and it's now 1-2 count. By the way, correction thanks to my buddy Mark Nadeau. Number 22 tonight is not Ty Seibert, according to our roster. Welcome to preseason, folks. It's Luke Labby instead, freshman.
Hey, that a baby, Luke.
So he's on first base.
Talk about an eye on a freshman. Holy cow.
Sorry to Luke's mom and dad.
Sorry about that. We tried our
family
best.
watching everywhere.
We don't feel good about it, to be honest. But what we do feel good about is his eye. Now, I will say this. This is even better, though, for him. If he's a freshman, now we have 3 years to work on the hoodie under the jersey so we can get it the right color. And if the family's listening, let's do a favor here. Let's get some black hoodies that we can put underneath. And then this kid is going to be – it's going to be electric by senior day.
By the way, that's like 25-year-old Kasey Kuhrts, so he can give you the fashion advice.
I'm doing the best I can. That's why they brought me in.
Kendall with a good-looking swing, and he fouls it back into the neighbor's yard.
That might not be a good thing.
Inside joke.
Inside joke. But some of you may get it out there. I'm just glad I get it. But holy cow.
There's a lot going on in this corner of St. John's Country Day campus here at Orange Park.
There's a lot going on. You know what? St. John's Country Day looks like a nice school, nice campus. I'll tell you this. I can't imagine going here with the cell service situation. How are you supposed to text your girl? We're going for a back pick on second, by the way.
And a big swing and a miss for Jacob Kendall, and that's a nice pitch by Jack Hensel. Got him in the hands and beat him. And that's 2 outs now here in the second inning. It brings up Brody DeLameleur. Brody, an FSU commit and one of the best hitters in the area. They, once again, at Bartram Trail will have one of the best hitters in the area, in my opinion. Last year, Justin Nadeau, who now is at Jacksonville University, for my money, was the best guy swinging a bat.
It's going to get foul. Heads up in the bullpen.
Brody will be in that conversation this year for Bartram Trail.
By the way, another guy that competed in the home run derby earlier, popped a few out of here.
He did.
And
he
if
had a handful of them.
If my numbers serve me, my man's hit 409 last year. Now that's something.
He's very talented. Again, he was committed to Notre Dame, and then Link Jarrett goes over to Florida State. Obviously, it's year one that starts this weekend for Link. We're scheduled to have him on the radio show on Monday, in fact. And Brody goes from a Notre Dame commit to an FSU commit, so he gets to stay in state.
Yeah, that probably worked out well for him.
That's not bad.
Notre Dame's going to be snowing and stuff when they want him to practice. Now my man's going to have to deal with that, which is great. Great for him.
Plus, Florida State football right now is better anyway.
A lot better. Florida State baseball not too bad either. Good move all around.
We've known Brody since he was, about 7, 8 years old, maybe less. Probably, I guess it would be more like 5 or 6 years old.
It's a long time.
So we've been seeing him hit for a while.
Yeah, you are very high on his talents with the bat. I'm hoping we can see some here with a couple of runners on base.
Well, back pick once again, and to no avail. A little miscommunication out there in the middle.
Is this – you watch a lot of high school baseball, right? Is this a normal thing? Like, are we back picking on every inning? Like,
well,
this seems pretty –
again, we're talking about the preseason, right? Trying to get some work in, make an impression, and probably make something happen, right? Go win a spot. Who knows who's – we're in the game 2 of this week, so who knows who's going to start and what positions are up for grabs. That ball's roped by Brody right to center, and a sliding catch out there in the left center field. Beautiful play. Picked up off the ground. Just a good baseball play right there. Good pitch, good swing, and a heck of a play out in center field. It wasn't Jordan Taylor. It would have been Jordan Taylor a year ago. But that was Kyle Boylston. You might know him from his receiving prowess for Trinity Christian in the fall. He could play a mean center field as well. Heck of a catch by Kyle. At the end of an inning and a half, 2-0, Bartram Trail leads with St. John's Country Day coming up to the plate here on Action Sports Shacks and ESPN 690. Welcome back to the bottom of the second. Logan Hartman still out there for another inning of work for Bartram Trail. And doesn't always work like this. Kyle Boylston comes to the plate, sends one deep toward the scoreboard, and that is gone. A home run for Kyle Boylston after making a heck of a play out in center field. He launches one into the left center field night for a home run here on a Wednesday night.
Man, you make a play in center, and then first pitch, you're sitting on the heater. Left center, see you later, Souvenir City. Look
That
at
was
that.
a beautiful swing by Kyle. Made sure he went back and touched home
make sure
plate
he got
just
it
in
there.
case he didn't get there. I wasn't looking, Kyle. Don't worry. I thought you
Beautiful.
touched home plate. Once
Beautiful.
again, Boylston now, he's starting to get some big-time looks on the football field. Florida Atlantic, I think, has offered him, and others will. He's a terrific receiver. Had a breakout year for Trinity Christian. One of the most unusual things I've seen in high school. He plays football at Trinity Christian, plays baseball here at St. John's Country Day, and he can really patrol center field and obviously swing it, too. He hits a solo home run to get St. John's Country Day on the board.
Talk about an incredible 4 minutes for that kid. It's been 4 minutes since he made a diving catch, and then he puts one out of the stadium towards the field goal post out there, which might have been good, but good couple of minutes for him. And I guess that's why he's hitting fourth, Brent. It's just that simple.
We got some fireworks here. We're settled in.
Couple of dingers early. This is best case scenario.
Again, this isn't a knock. This is just the reality. It's kind of a cool field here at St. John's Country Day. It's an unorthodox field. It's not a deep field at all, and so you can hit it out. Now, that thing was blistered to the left center gap, even on a big field, and so Kyle would have been running for a while. But not every home run here is a home run in every park is the moral of the story. But some of these shots that are hit in a home run derby earlier and like that one, that might have had a good chance to go out.
What's interesting with Logan Hartman, by the way, he's settled in nicely since the home run, going right after and attacking the next hitter, but consistently and always pitching out of the stretch, Brent. And
That's
I'm not
a
sure.
hit by pitch to the helmet. Hopefully, I think that's Sean Andrade. It was Sean Andrade at the plate, and hopefully he's okay. Shaking that one off.
Yeah, that one made a noise that I bet came through our microphones as well. I mean, you're out there competing, you're throwing hard, and just caught you at a bad spot.
Yeah, Hartman, like you said, he was fine in control, 1-2 count, and then that one just got away from him and nowhere to go for Sean Andrade there. He's to his feet. Tom Lucas talking to him. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Bartram Trail coach out there. One thing about baseball in this area, everybody's been coached by everybody. Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
So, not to say you wouldn't check on them anyway, but.
And, I mean, one, at least, good thing about this is you heard it hit the helmet, so you don't have to, at least it didn't, hit him square in the cheek or something like that. You definitely got some helmet in there, and could have been a whole lot worse if you didn't. But looks like he's walking it off, and he's going to take his base and might even try to steal.
They might take him out here and just make sure he's okay and put a pinch runner in. It looks like that's what they're going to do. Sean, by the way, hopefully he gets back out there starting shortstop for St. John's Country Day, a USF commit, and the most unlikely of stories.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear this one, actually.
I went to high school with his parents.
Yeah, I brought that up.
Now, I'm not from Jacksonville, and they are not either.
That's why it's weird. Brent,
This
I brought
is
it up
all the way
earlier.
to East Providence, Rhode Island.
Yeah, what do you think the odds are if you had to play some of you two would end up in the same, you and his parents ended up in the same city?
It
like
was
70
so
years later,
bizarre.
'cause you're
I'll tell
old.
you how we knew. I didn't even know it existed until like my kids were 12, 13 years old. They ended up on the same team together. So Sean and my guy ended up on the same team, and we're like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. I used to be the quarterback of the East Providence Townies football team. That's his dad was.
Oh, I
Sean
knew you weren't the
Andre.
quarterback.
Yeah, not me.
How
Not
about
me.
that? It
So there you
really
go.
is a small world.
A little fun anecdote, and hope Sean's okay.
Most important of that story is that he's okay, by the way. And once again, right back to work, pumping fastball, and another strike for Logan Hartman.
Kellen Brown comes up to the plate. The senior is committed to Embry Riddle. Used to be a Bartram Bear a couple of years ago, now been with the St. John's program last couple of years, and fouls that one straight back. 0-2 count quickly as Hartman tries to bounce back after a solo shot by Kyle Boylston and a hit by pitch to Sean Andrade.
Back to working strictly out of the stretch, Brent. Is that something that we're seeing? I mean, I understand if that's how you repeat your mechanics, that's what you do, but it seems like a lot of guys would going out of the stretch and the windup nowadays. Straight out of the stretch is interesting. It's different. I dig it.
Listen, man, I know things like I went to high school with Sean Andrade's parents.
You don't know why
I don't know why the heck he's pitching from the stretch.
Listen.
All right, I'm not that deep into the season yet.
I thought you did the research.
Didn't do a lot of homework for this thing. I was just trying to get a good connection so we could air the game.
I mean, I'm sitting here telling you he has a .7 ERA last year, and I can't even figure out why he's only doing it out of the stretch. Maybe because he dominates out of the stretch as he throws a beautiful pitch on the outside corner. Can't be looking at that one because you're going to have to
might have got a little benefit of that black on the outside part of the plate, but he painted it, and he got the call. Maybe it's Queens University telling him to go out of the stretch all the time. That's where he's committed.
We'll have
you
to
just
follow
make
up on
something
that.
up.
Yeah. That's what I'm planning to do throughout the next 6 innings of the game.
Coming to the plate now, J.D. Hay. Another guy we know real well in the Martineau household. Good young man, bad parents.
Oh.
Not just dad.
Okay. Well, listen, just looking at the swag that we got going here, the pink tape is an interesting play. I'm a big supporter of wearing pink, though, when it doesn't match any of the colors. Used to do that as well. Looks like we got a little hand guard in the back pocket. Must be a big base stealer. Or maybe it just looks cool.
You think I should make sure I tell everybody, laugh out loud, ha, 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 I was kidding?
Oh, about the parents?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on how you feel. You know.
Think that will hold up in a court of the law on slander?
Yeah, you might be in trouble there. But, yeah.
We know him well. Beautiful people. J.D. Hay now takes one high and tight, 2-0 count. He's coming over from the bowl school, so a couple of new faces for St. John's Country Day. As we said, who they have to replace. Well, J.D. Hay coming over here, and he'll pitch some. He's playing first base tonight. And also, we mentioned Seth Alford in the two-hole, who can really do a little bit of everything. He'll pitch. He'll play every infield spot, play the outfield. He's all over the place. Utility guy, and then some for St. John's Country Day out of University Christian. Low strike call at the knees for Logan Hartman, who's trying to work out of this. It's now 2-1 with one out here in the bottom of the second inning. Kalen Pokel delivered a 2-run shot for Bartram Trail, got him on the board in the top half of this inning. And then Kyle Boylston delivered a solo home run to left center field right near the scoreboard to make it a 2-1 game.
I'm fascinated by the transfer stuff in high school. Like, we talk about it a lot as we're going back over to first with no avail. We talk about it a lot with the college stuff, but now high school transfer portal. I know it's not a portal, but if you will, it's a real thing. We're seeing it out here right in front of our eyes.
It is a real thing. Of course, it's a little bit easier private school to move, and UC to St. John's Country Day, Bowls to St. John's Country Day, so you can make that move a little bit easier than maybe you can at some of the local high schools. Although, as we discuss a lot in football, it's free agent Florida when it comes to transfer. All they do is need a seat open at the school, and it can happen. So we see a lot of bouncing around.
Big fan of the transfer. You do what you got to do. You got to do what's best for you.
That's right. Three-one count now. One out. And that one taken high by J.D., so he'll take a walk to first base. Hit by pitch and a walk followed up that home run by Kyle Boylston. So it's first and second, one out for St. John's Country Day in the home half of the inning. Ryan Fitzpatrick going to take a walk out to the mound, and most likely that will do it for Logan Hartman here on a Wednesday night. He went the first inning, did well. Second inning, ran into a little bit of trouble with Kyle Boylston's big swing, and now a little loss of control here over the last few batters. We'll see if Fitzpatrick, who was a fine pitcher himself at Wingate University, is just out there to give some instruction or go get Logan Hartman.
Yeah, it was, and
I guess it was instruction.
It looks like it is instruction, but I think this is almost the perfect scenario. If you're coaching in this situation, you want to see your guy compete. You want to see if he can get out of the jam that he's in before it really, really matters. So obviously you want to win this game, but I think it's more important for the coaching staff to find out if their guy is going to be able to get these outs during the regular season when they matter the most.
So one out here in the bottom of the second. Brent Martineau Kasey Kuhrts. We're trying something new here if you're just jumping in. And, broadcast a little baseball game on the social media only. You can watch it on Action Sports Jack's YouTube, on my Twitter, Brent A.S. Jacks, on ESPN 690's Twitter, ESPN 690 Jacks. That is strike one to Isaiah Mamea, another USF commit.
USF be down here recruiting, huh?
Yeah, USF certainly has done that. In fact, Colt Myers, who's a Florida commit, was committed to USF. So a bunch of Bulls on the field, potentially.
Oh.
Nice curveball.
Tell you
by
what,
Hartman.
He's thrown a couple of them tonight that have been pretty gross. I was for sure a couple of people were getting hit. They did not, and it ended up being a strike on the inside half, which is extremely impressive. But back to USF, a school that has continued to develop their athletic program, although football has had its ups and downs. Baseball is really cooking right now. You can see that if they're coming all the way down, or up here, I should say, to recruit. But you could also now point to major league talent that came out of USF, most notably Shane McClanahan, who started in the All-Star game. The Rays ace of their staff went to USF. So up and up for USF, and they apparently have had a one-way ticket up here to Jacksonville to recruit.
We'll visit at the mound, and 1-1 is the count with one out, 2-1 game with a couple of runners on for the Spartans here at home. We'll get into the schedules for both these teams coming up as real games begin next week. This is preseason action if you're just jumping in. Ooh. Had a big swing and a miss, and that's strike three. Actually, it was an 0-2 count leading up to that, and almost a back pick double play, so good heads up.
That was an impressive sequence. Fastball early, then you got him to take the inside pitch that came back, and then another off-speed pitch that just ran away. Really impressive sequence there after the mound visit. And whatever was trying to be registered from the coaching staff must have really came through.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, that was a nice bounce back by Logan Hartman.
Maybe it was just throw that disgusting off-speed pitch.
Might have been. A couple off-speed pitches were really good there. We hadn't seen too many from him.
Not too many. I mean, he's thrown some really good ones, but again, it is preseason, Brent. You probably don't want to come out here just spinning everything, really put some stress on the arm. Just throw heat. Get up, get down, get your work in, whatever it takes.
Hanging out with you from St. John's Country Day in the preseason. Brent Martineau Kasey Kuhrts, 2 outs. Runners on first and second. Logan Hartman trying to get out of this jam and probably end his night. Nice pitch underneath the hands for strike one.
Talk about a big at bat for a freshman, by the way. Hunter Rogers at the plate, doing the work behind the plate for St. John's Country Day, but at the plate with a couple of runners on. Might be a first high school at bat, or one of the early ones here in the preseason as a freshman. Talk about opportunity.
A big swing and a miss there at a high fastball, and now quickly Hartman has a chance to get out of it with one pitch. 0-2 count, 2 outs. And since that conversation from Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's been excellent.
When Hunter gets back to the plate, we're going to have a conversation about the batting gloves he's sporting right now. We might actually have it if he can fight off a pitch here or take a ball, because I got a serious question. Are we rocking pink or red down here? But that's a conversation for another time.
I think it's red. And he
All
takes
right,
an 0-2 pitch that was really close.
If it's red, bit of a problem. All right. If they're travel ball colors, okay, whatever. If they're pink, they're swag. Red, can't do it. Just can't do it.
Look at this fashion police for Kasey Kuhrts.
But listen, I
mean, this guy should not be giving fashion advice. The one nice thing here that I like about Hunter is I'm already a fan of him. I don't know Hunter very well, but look at him choked up on that bat like Pete Rose with 2 strikes.
He's here to fight.
You know who Pete Rose is, Casey?
I've heard of Pete.
Oh, that is a heck of a swing. Nice job. Down the right field line and foul.
Yeah, gave it a little.
I guess I should finish telling you where that went.
Yeah, maybe. Wait, a little bit of a ride, though, on the choked up. It was inside, went with it. Got to appreciate it. If those are maybe powder blue batting gloves, that might stay fair. You never know.
I dig the powder blue and white unis for St. John's Country Day.
I like it. I'm gonna like it. I'm a big. It's good.
It's better than other shades of blue.
Cool.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch from Hartman. Takes a long look back at second, and Rogers fouls it away.
Now, this isn't a bad right here, Hunter Rogers. Freshman behind the plate, red batting gloves, even with choked up, fighting against a kid you know is going to play at the next level. It's big time at bat right here. Tell you what, you know what else I like about Jacob Kendall on the mound? He works fast. Let's get in, let's get out. Here
1-2 pitch. Just a bit outside. Might have been a shade high, too. Just a bit outside.
You know what we need more at high school baseball stadiums, Brent? Radar guns.
What do we need?
Radar guns.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do.
I'm going to
Like,
get
listen,
into the
I know
radar gun conversation.
I know
I'll save that for our new show coming out called No Gate Fees, Monday, March 6th, 7 o'clock. That will be a topic. Ball in the dirt, nice block. And Hunter Rogers, with a heck of an at-bat, has run the count full.
This is the at-bat of the season, and it's only preseason game, too.
Yes, I would put it at least in a nominee.
I mean, truly.
Out of the
he was down
15
early
at-bats
in the
that have
count.
taken place here so far this year.
He's been fighting. Let's see if he can cap it off. A little walk, a little base knock. Do something here. Tell you what, if I'm the coaching staff, St. John's Country Day, you got a freshman fighting like this in the preseason?
Hey, runners will be in motion now. 3-2, 2 outs, and they're going to
see
back pick, and that's all right. Colt Myers couldn't get it, but center field's right there. It is Brody out there in center, I believe. Yes. Forgot to bring the binoculars.
Didn't even think about that.
Old eyes, binoculars.
You
That's
have
what
old
you're
eyes.
here for.
That is confirmed. You do have old eyes.
But 44 Pro Gloves putting on this tournament here. That's big news coming out soon. 3-2 pitch. The runners go, and that's fouled back. This is a heck of an at-bat. You love this at-bat.
Something. I
like
love
this at-bat. We're
love
choked
it.
up. We got red/pink gloves. Who cares?
Well, we care, but, you know, great at bat still. Even so, work on the batting gloves. We got 4 years to figure that out.
Are we going to go nuts here if he gets a hit?
Like, we kind of have
we're
to.
neutral here, but we like this at-bat.
Like, here's the thing, and I know it's a little tougher for you to go wild if this happens because I know where your rooting is and with other teams and stuff, so it's going to be a bad look for you.
That's preseason. It doesn't matter.
You know,
I'm rooting for everybody. I love them all.
I'm rooting for my man to get a hit right here, to be honest with you.
Oh, that hurt. I knew that might happen.
You know,
if you couldn't see it on the feeds, basically the pick on the 3-2 just drilled the runner on second base.
He's going to have a nice mark when he gets home. But, listen, I think the way to avoid that is to stop picking off. Listen, I got nowhere to be. I don't have dinner plans. I'm fine being here.
I do. I have to be on TV tonight at 10:50, and it's a long drive back. So
you might not be making it, big dog.
Well, you might be finishing the show.
Well, I'll do what I have to do.
Or we're going live from St. John's Country Day.
That's an idea.
Yeah.
You throw off the news producer, but they don't like you anyway, Brett.
That's a good point.
Anyway, it's still 3-2, if you were wondering. Still the at-bat of the decade.
3-2 pitch, 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. St. John's Country Day. Hunter Rogers, heck of an at-bat, and he walks. That'll get the guys excited. Really good at-bat.
They should be.
And now the bases are loaded, and Hartman, who had settled down, now has to get himself out of this jam. He was up 0-2 in that count, really wanted that third pitch. I was right on the corner, didn't get it. And then Hunter Rogers worked a walk in the 9-hole. Heck of an at-bat.
Which is, I mean, if you're on the mound, it stings even more. You were up early in the count, and it's the 9-hole, and it's a freshman, right? I mean, it was a perfect opportunity to get out of the inning. Unfortunately for the defense, you can't make it. But if you're at the plate, an incredible at-bat. Don't give up. Keep fighting. Now you got the bases chucked with 2 outs.
So here we go. Back to the top of the lineup, Cody Denault, who will be a tough out. I guarantee you that.
Cody saw a ton of pitches in his first at-bat as well, so could be seeing something similar that we just saw.
Took the first pitch, 0-1. Bases juice, 2-1 game. This inning started with a Kyle Boylston solo home run after Kalen Pokel had hit a 2-run homer in the top half of the inning for the Bartram Trail Bears. Logan Hartman has been on the mound the entire game. Pitch count's going to be getting up there. I would think this will be his last inning of work. And there is some action in the Bartram Trail bullpen. Here comes the 1-1 with the bases loaded. Hartman, too high.
No complaints for the batting gloves here, Brent. To be honest with you, really, I like what Cody's got going on here. I'm a big fan of the white/gray cleats as well. I think they really pop, even if they get dirty. So, listen, when you got white cleats on, I think anything's possible as he waits for a 2-1.
And that 2-1 pitch is taken high and outside. It's 3-1 now, and Logan Hartman and Bartram Trail in a bit of trouble here. Up 2-1, but the base is loaded, and everybody on the bag has got there due to a walk or hit by pitch. So control's been a little sporadic this inning for Logan Hartman. And, hey, that's what the preseason's all about, really. I mean, it's not going to be perfect in the preseason. I think the coaches know that.
And also what the preseason's about is swinging 3-1 and try to go yak.
That
or take a pitch, you know.
Taken a little bit high. For strike 2. Let's just say Cody Denal thought that was a little high. It was definitely toward the letters.
I'll tell you what, this isn't a preseason crowd. This is postseason, mid-season form by the fans.
This is Bartram Trail, St. John's Country Day, man. It doesn't matter if this was in November. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Runners on the move, 2 outs. And Cody smacks it to second base, but that will be fielded clean and out number 3. So Logan Hartman, he worked hard to get out of it, but he does just that, and he clings to a 2-1 lead after 2 innings of play. Bartram Trail coming to play here at St. John's Country Day and our first ever game of the week on Action Sports Jax at ESPN 690. Thanks for hanging through our commercial break. We're proud of that commercial break, aren't we, here? We're trying to get this all to work. My man Mark Spencer's helping us out. He's Director Mark Spencer today. Brent Martineau along with Kasey Kuhrts. Fashion Police Kasey Kuhrts.
Listen, you know, I know good swag when I see it. I'm just trying to help out the young fellas who probably don't need it. Now, let me tell you something right here. This leg guard we got, now this is something.
Listen, if your dad's Brett Myers, you better swag a little bit.
No, that's fair. That's fair. He probably doesn't need my help. Now that is a hack from Cole Myers.
Cole Myers participated in the Home Run Derby and tried to keep the Home Run Derby going with that swing. Hit a home run on Monday night. Florida Gator commit. Had a terrific summer with the Florida Dodgers scout team. And primed for a big year here in his junior season, playing shortstop and taking over for Alex Lodis in that shortstop position, who's at UNF. And Colt can play everywhere. He's played since his freshman season for Bartram, played third base quite a bit, can move over to first base. Heck, I think he could even project to the outfield in the college days with the Florida Gators. And, he touches 90-plus on the hill. That might be a heck of a bunt. Oh, man, if Colt Myers just had that down for a bunt, there are some folks in town that would have never heard the end of it.
Well, unlucky, and if you didn't see it live, what happened was it was a curveball that didn't exactly break. Colt was really just trying to save himself from getting hit, ends up hitting the bat. Unfortunate situation, especially if you're a good hitter. Gotta hate to see it.
It almost went fair.
Now, that would have been something.
Anyway, it's 0-2. We still have Jack on the mound?
We don't. We have Thomas Gibbs on the mound.
Thomas Gibbs on the mound.
We're going pitcher 3 in 3 innings.
This is where you have to come up big, not just with your fashion police conversation and analysis, but with the eyes. Well, it's dark here.
I got you. And as long as my roster's right, we got Thomas Gibbs out there, the senior.
Big hack.
The heat right at Colt Myers, which you got to appreciate.
Big hack, 0-2, and he fouled it right back, so we'll do it again.
Let me ask you, you've watched Colt play a lot. Are these preseason hacks, or is this an every at-bat hack?
That's every at-bat hack.
Now, this is the kind of kid
he does not get cheated.
You love to see it.
So here comes the 0-2, and that is blowing inside and fouled to the right side for Colt. Again, Colt Myers, Jacob Kendall is a sophomore, Colt's a junior, and Skylar Sanford, who you won't see tonight, you saw him on Monday night, pitched a couple innings, all committed to the Florida Gators on Bartram Trail, and then Brody DeLamalure is a Florida State commit. Not bad from one high school.
Not bad at all.
Oh, heck of a pitch. Just misses inside and might have fooled everybody.
That thing backed up, tell you what.
A really good pitch. Nothing really Colt Myers could do, and just kind of hope you get the benefit of the call, and I think he might have. So he gets another chance, and now Gibbs will have to go to work against him.
Let's throw that same pitch. You know what I'm saying?
Scoreboard says 2-2. And that one pops out of the glove into the face mask of Hunter Rogers, who's been involved in our broadcast quite a bit.
Still working off that incredible at-bat. I mean, he's got to be just on cloud 9. But see, again, we see the batting gloves in the back pocket. We got to leave those in the dugout.
You are stuck on the batting gloves, man.
Listen, I'm just trying to help. I'm not sure what I bring to the broadcast, but what I know is I can try to help in any way possible, and that's one.
Maybe we'll do a poll. See what you bring to the broadcast.
I don't think we want to do that poll. I don't think we want to do that.
2-1 game here, top of the third. We're having some fun at St. John's Country Day in the preseason. Here's a 2-2 pitch, and that is swung on and missed. Nasty pitch by Gibbs, and he gets Myers for out number 1.
I told you.
Here in the top of the third. Healthy at bat for Colt Myers, but tip your cap sometimes to the pitcher. That was a heck of a pitch.
Yeah, those off-speed pitches were disgusting. And you take the one because it kind of surprised you, but can't take it again, and that thing just broke away.
That ball almost hit Caleb Allender and taken inside for ball number 1. Tell you what, got a pretty nasty, what I would think is a slider.
Keep throwing it. I mean, well, be safe.
The kids call everything a slider now. Like if it doesn't break 12-6, everything's a slider.
It's got slider movement.
But this is a slider. I think it's a slider.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But not everybody throws a slider. Yeah. But I think every kid nowadays, at least my kid, calls everything a slider.
Yeah. Listen, as long as you recognize it's moving, that's all that matters.
Whatever happened to the curveball?
It's not as fun.
That one's wide by Gibbs, and it's 2-1. Goes to the backstop, but obviously nothing doing on the bases. Nobody's on, so no problem. Short backstop here, too, at St. John's Country Day. Caleb Allender at the plate. Had a chance in the first inning with runners on second and third, and Jacob Thomas was able to get him swinging to end the threat. And that one does hit Allender.
Yeah, it's bound to happen at some point, right?
Yeah, Dad's been giving him some high-protein meals, you can tell, and that doesn't bother him.
Okay.
A little
Nice.
Off-speed pitch to the hip, no problem.
Absolutely. Talking about the dietary needs of these athletes. Gotta love it. See, now, this is something that you can't really control because it's a bat color and you can't choose it, but this is a sharp bat right here. A little white on the red. What is this, a Marucci? We digging Marucci here?
I think so. That ball gets away, and Allender will move up to second base with one out.
So, this is how old I am. First time I ever felt old. Back in my day, we used to swing the Cat 3. I'm hearing this is a Cat X. I don't know Roman numerals, but that feels like a long ways away from the Cat 3.
I don't know. But you know what my problem is? Our Bartram Trail roster does not have a number 9.
Yep, I noticed that earlier. And
what do you want to call him? Should be. Oh, whoa. 44 bat instead of. Might be the way to go for number 9. Ted Williams from their other side.
And we're going, oh, this is why we don't backpick.
And now this might be a score for Allender. He's going to score all the way from second as they beat the back pick. There you go. We've seen a lot of that from Rogers throwing behind the runners and really all night from both catchers. And that time it cost St. John's Country Day a run as Caleb Allender hit by pitch, pass ball moves to second, and scores on the error out to center field.
What a throw in from center, though, by the way. A little bit late, no play to be had there, but an absolute cannon. I hope we see that later in the game on a, play at the plate or something.
Someone I know might have lost a game here at a play on the plate when Jordan Taylor threw a strike to end a baseball game in the 7th inning.
My favorite part about this broadcast is the encrypted stuff that you're just going to throw in that I have no clue what the heck you're talking about. So
there will be some people that will.
I know. I'm just going to say I hope you know it. It must have been a tough night for whoever got canned at the plate.
I just can't mention anybody by name, or I got to contribute to the fine jar during the broadcast.
That's tough. Now I know who you're talking about. Maybe.
By the way, that throw by Jordan Taylor, whoo, that was a rope.
Yeah.
No wonder why the big leaguers all have plans for him down the line. Again, now at FSU. FSU will be at JU on Tuesday, so we'll get a glimpse of some local guys like Jordan Taylor.
There you go.
Connor Moore, I believe, is still at FSU. Played shortstop here for St. John's Country Day.
Ooh.
And that's strike 3 for Gibbs.
Listen, I think all you can ask for is consistency with the strike zone. That pitch was definitely not called last inning. That's all I'm saying.
Now here we go. Preseason, get all of the umpires already.
That's all I'm saying. Consistency.
Former pitcher. You should like that.
Consistency. That's all I'm asking for.
That's a good pitch on the outside corner by Gibbs as he's settled in and really throwing strikes now. Jonathan Hendy comes to the plate again for Bartram Trail, his second time up. We're in the top of the third. Caleb Allender scoring hit by pitch, pass ball, and then an error to center field. He raced to third and then home. And that's how Bartram Trail has its third run. After a 2-run home run by Kalen Pokel. In the bottom of the second, Kyle Boylston led off the inning with a bomb to left center right near the scoreboard. And then Logan Hartman was able to get out of a bases-loaded jam to end the threat, or it could have been more. And that's where we stand as Hendy battles to stay alive at 0-2.
Nice little fight on that inside pitch. Brent, let me ask you, where do you fall on high socks versus low socks? Because I've got some thoughts, but I'd like to hear yours first.
I am okay with the high socks. Certainly okay. I don't have a preference, but, back in my day, I like to push up the socks and show off the calves sometimes.
That is disgusting.
That was a nasty pitch by Gibbs. And that will send Hendy back to the dugout. Thanks to our buddy Martineau. The last batter, number 9, was not Ted Williams. It was freshman Dominic Cantona.
All right.
Who obviously has changed numbers from 20 to number 9 today.
Huh. Must have forgot the jersey. Maybe we can find more on that later.
All right, what do we say we take a break? This Game of the Week broadcast brought to you by 44 Pro Gloves, Nimnik Buick GMC, and, right here, Action Sports Shacks and ESPN 690. We'll be back with the bottom of the third here from St. John's Country Day in our first ever Game of the Week. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to St. John's Country Day as we are broadcasting on ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jack social media channels only, not on the radio side. Brent Martineau Kasey Kuhrts will be joined by Mark Spencer in a moment. Hope to have both coaches up in the booth, too, if we can make that happen throughout the broadcast, as we're just having some fun trying to broadcast some preseason baseball. And it's Bartram Trail and St. John's Country Day, and a good one so far. Two big swings that ended up in home runs, one for each team. And 3-1 is our score as we begin the bottom half of the third inning. As you saw in our commercial break, broadcast presented by Nimnik Buick GMC. And also 44 Pro Gloves, who's putting this tournament on here at St. John's Country Day over the last couple of days. Pitch is swung on and missed by Seth Alford, up for the second time, and now it's 0-2. And we welcome in Mark Spencer, who's helping us put the broadcast on, help put the tournament on here at St. John's Country Day with Columbia and Oakleaf, Bartram Trail, and St. John's Country Day. Had a little home run derby earlier tonight as well, Mark, and big news for 44 Pro Gloves. They're not just about the glove anymore, are they?
Right, no kidding. It's really exciting. Thanks for having us on. And 44 Pro's been around for a few years. Everyone knows us as custom gloves, but it was time to get in the bat space. And
good pitch there, strike three, after Garrett Robinson comes in and takes care of Seth Alford without number one of the bottom of the third inning.
Yeah, so it's time to get in the bat space, and so we picked a few partners a year and a half ago. This has been a long process. St. John's Country Day is swinging the bats. I think the big news that got announced tonight, though, is Georgia Tech, last year's number one offense, all of Division I. Every single player is going to be swinging a 44 bat. That process began last September. We fit all the players individually to our prototypes, and everyone on the roster, all the way down through the roster, up and down the roster, swinging a 44 bat starting Friday.
That's pretty good stuff. Mark Spencer with us here on the broadcast. Brent Martineau, and that ball delivered to right field. Will it get inside the line?
Oh,
and I think it lands on the line. And that's a base hit, as Terry will stop at first base with a blooper that ends up hitting the line, and that brings up Kyle Boylston, who could tie this game with one swing of the at-bat. He has a home run already tonight. It's the only run of the game for St. John's Country Day. The center fielder, magnificent catch out in center field, and then answered with a home run at the plate. He comes up for the second time with a runner on and one out here in the bottom of the third.
It's fun to watch him swing. I've been working with these guys for a year and a half as well in the bats. And, Mason, he's in a 33-inch alloy model.
That one, Kyle Boylston just misses and pops it up to left field for an easy out.
I spent a lot of time with Kyle, and great kid.
Yeah, he's super kid.
Just super duper nice. Obviously, an amazing football player as well. And beside fitting him for the bat and begging him to go play football at Oklahoma, we spent a lot of time talking, and I fit him into a size and model that he probably wouldn't have picked off the wall. And, telling him to trust it, and him hitting that home run tonight was real exciting.
Yeah, that's pretty good stuff. Here is Sean Andrade, and it's good to see him in the game as he rips one down the line. It's a fair ball right over the third base bag, and now Terry's going to try to go to third. He'll slide in there safe, and Sean Andrade has himself a single after getting hit by a pitch. Good to see Sean back in the game, and then he delivers a big single to put runners on the corners with two outs, and St. John's Country Day has a big opportunity here in the bottom of the third to try to get one back.
Sean's been a great partner of ours, with him being one of the better players for 2 years now in the squad, and been working with him a bunch. He's swinging a 33.5-inch bat, and it's a little more end-loaded than the bat he was swinging prior. Great story about Jordan Taylor, if we want to get into it later. But, some of these guys are swinging bats that just aren't the right size. And through the process that we do, putting them in the correct size has really made a difference.
So Robinson now trying to work out of a two-out jam with the runners on the corners for St. John's Country Day, and Kellen Brown at the plate.
So this fella hitting here is going to go play college baseball at Embry-Riddle.
He might be able to engineer your bats.
Well, he flies twice a week.
That's pretty cool.
Solo flies twice a week, and I've been here, and on a windy day, you fly today? And he looks at me like, yeah.
He'd like to send a long fly out of here at St. John's Country Day and give the Spartans a lead for the first time tonight if he could do so. Kellen Brown at the plate, 2-0 count. So Robinson has to be a little bit careful here. Free swinging chance for St. John's Country Day. Mark Spencer with us, background in golf. Who can play some good golf. But how much is the golf customization now translated to the baseball customization? That pitch is high, throw down to second, not in time. Sean Edrade steals second, and so now it's a base knock for Kellen Moore that could tie this baseball game up here in the bottom of the third between Bartram Trail and St. John's Country Day, and it's a 3-0 count.
You know, you mentioned golf. It's very similar. You know, my days at Nike Golf as a fitter and a rep, and it's a very similar process of fitting a player, how they move to the correct bat. And True Temper purchased 44 Pro last summer, the company, and True Temper's DNA is golf, and so it's been a good marriage so far, and just today's been really exciting to have that announcement of the Georgia Tech partnership, and you're going to be watching a lot of Georgia Tech games this spring starting on Friday.
Here comes the 3-1 pitch to Kellen Brown. Robinson delivers, went off speed with first base open, and Kellen Brown didn't bite. He'll take first base, and that will load him up.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but Kellen is super bats. Like, he is very disciplined at the plate, works the ball really up the middle and backside. His swing is a little more compact, and so the model we fit him to is a little bit more of a barrel control model. So super duper exciting to see him get on base. That's what he does.
Well, here we go. Now 2 outs in the bottom of the third. We've got some drama building. Bases loaded as J.D. Hay comes to the plate and takes pitch number 1 for ball 1. Just a little high by Robinson. Robinson's got good stuff now. Usually has good command of the zone from everything I've heard, and could be a big factor from a depth standpoint for Bartram Trail here in 2023 on the mound. But he's got a 1-0 pitch, and the bases loaded against J.D. Hay and St. John's Country Day, and that's up and in. So now a 2-0 count with 2 outs here in the third.
You know, you mentioned depth. It's important in high school. You're not going to play just every Tuesday and Thursday. All of a sudden, you got cancellations and add-ons. You need to go deep into that bullpen, and you need to call on guys to give some innings for you.
The 2-0 taken inside, so now it's 3-0. And Robinson in some trouble here for Bartram Trail in the bottom of the third. Got to believe J.D. Hay, not in the world of taking pitches anymore for so many sluggers, but this one might be a spot that he will.
For the record, I'm a big fan of swinging Daddy Hacks on 3-0, just for the record.
Maybe not in this spot. And that's right down Main Street for strike 1.
The most hittable pitch was right there.
It's fair.
The TrackMan data shows the most hittable pitch is 3-0.
He should get a pretty good one to hit 3-1 as well.
Yep.
We'll see.
See if he gets on time here.
Here's the pitch, and that is outside and taken for ball 4. That will force in a run. Run number 2 for St. John's Country Day. It's a 3-2 game here in the bottom of the third, and Robinson's not out of it yet, because coming up next is another South Florida commit, Isaiah Mamea.
So Zay, as they call him, is a notoriously pretty casual guy until there's some type of competition going on. There's a story of a few weeks ago, they're doing some deadlifts, and he's kind of walking by, and I think there's something like 450 on the bar there. He kind of stops, and he pushes someone out of the way. He just, whoop, lifted it, no problem, and then walked off. And everyone's looking at it like, what was that? So he's got some power. He's got a lot of power. As far as exit velo, even though he's a pitcher by trade, he has the highest exit velo on the team.
He is long and lean, and that plays in the sport of baseball. Plays on the mound where he's over 90, and obviously some high exit velo too. And here comes the pitch to start off his at-bat. It looked
Great
like
pitch.
Robinson took a little something off it and gets the strike call, so it's 0-1. A good start for Robinson, who's fallen behind some of the hitters here in this inning. 1 run in here in the bottom of the third, 3-2, and there's a lot still out there for the Spartans of St. John's Country Day. Bases loaded with 2 outs. Here's the delivery to Mamea, and he got that one right off the end of the bat.
Really good sequence here to start him off with 2 breaking balls. The first pitch strike obviously is important, but if you could get a first pitch breaking ball over as a strike, that sets up the bat a lot better for the pitcher.
See what he does here. Will he stick with the breaking ball, go out of the zone, show him a little fastball higher out? They're setting up outside, and Robinson, wow, how about that? He caught the corner. So he got everything on that, not just a show me 0-2 pitch. Instead, it's a See you later. Strike two pitch, and Robinson gets out of the jam. That's twice now. The Spartans have left the bases loaded each of the last two innings. They do push one run across in the second and here in the third. It's a 3-2 game after three. Bartram Trail leads St. John's Country Day. We are live on ESPN at 690 and Action Sports Jack's social media channels here on a Wednesday night. Welcome back to St. John's Country Day. Brent Martineau Kasey Kuhrts now sits back in for Mark Spencer. We might get Ryan Fitzpatrick and or Tom Lucas on the broadcast here tonight. The coaches of the respective teams. Bartram Trail leads 3-2. Kalen Pokel, his second at-bat of the game. The first one was pretty good. A two-run homer to left field just cleared the wall, and it gave the Bears a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, my man's went yak earlier. Got to be looking for a similar at-bat here.
Wow, how about that? We're going to kick you out, Kasey.
Okay.
We're going to put Ryan Fitzpatrick in just like that. I mean, I don't know if he just didn't want to see anymore or if he just wanted to talk to me really bad, but he came up pretty quick, so we appreciate Coach Ryan Fitzpatrick jumping in here on the broadcast. And 2-1 pitch to Pokel was already gone deep. Flies one to right field. Right fielder slipped down a little bit, but that's the second baseman's ball and a clean out. Looks like Seth Alford's over there. No, Alford's over at third, actually, isn't he? And that's an out number one for St. John's Country Day. Ryan Fitzpatrick joins us, Bartram Trail Bears head coach. Coach.
Brent, how we doing?
Hey, excellent. Pokel, by the way, nice swing in the second inning.
It wasn't bad. He's been struggling a little bit too early this year, so it's good to see him put a good swing on a baseball.
Trying to make a name for himself after Ashton left.
Yeah, trying to get out of the shadows of his big brother, for sure. So, I wish they were twins, though. I tell you that.
I bet you do. Hopefully he's doing well out at Tampa. Obviously, he was a stud for you guys. You've got some studs now. You know that. You had a lot of depth last year. We were talking about on the broadcast. How's your young guys coming up and the depth that you have? I mean, it would be tough to match the depth that you had a season ago.
Yeah, I mean, last year we were very fortunate. We had a ton of good players, whether it was position players or pitchers. I've been asked that question a lot leading up to the season. How do we compare to last year? And I'll tell you what, Brent, I think I like this team a little better. They're fun to be around. Obviously we're still gonna have the target on our back, but it's not like the target we had last year. We obviously need some of the young guys to step up, and hopefully that's what we're doing. Like my man John Bay right here.
Yeah, John Bay's been on a couple times tonight, so a couple good swings.
He's been really good for us. So we need guys like that to step up. Like I say, they're hungry. They're coachable, but they're unproven. They haven't done it at this level yet. So I'm excited to watch them grow and kind of be a part of it.
You guys had a crazy good schedule last year, too. I mean, what's the schedule look like the rest of the way? Did you back off a little bit of that?
Yeah, I think last year I got a little carried away. But it was good for us, man. Last year, leading into playoffs, we've kind of seen it all. Last year we got everyone's best shot. But this year, it's still tough. We're not going to back down from anybody. but it's not as brutal as last year. I will say that. So, but that's a great thing about baseball. That's why you play the game. Anyone can beat you on any given night.
One out, runner on first. John Bay has a couple of hits tonight. He's on first base, and this brings up Luke Labby, who tried to confuse us with the number 22 on our roster as number 1 coach. But this is a freshman catcher for you guys,
Yeah.
I believe. We've heard a little bit about him, but I don't know a lot about him.
I am really excited about this guy right here. He has a bright future ahead of him for sure. It seems like we have a freshman or two every year that kind of step right into the starting lineup, and him and Dom Cantona are the ones this year.
A nice throw by Hunter Rogers, who continues to be a central point in our broadcast here tonight. ESPN's had that crazy good at-bat earlier in the game, and then nice throw there to get Bay stealing second base. 3-2 is our score. We're visiting with Ryan Fitzpatrick, head coach of the Bartram Trail Bears. Tell us about the frontline talent. I think a lot of people who follow baseball know Skylar Sanford, Florida commit, obviously Colt, Florida commit, Jacob Kendall, young guy, Florida commit, and Brody, who's finishing off a heck of a career and will be headed to Florida State in the fall.
Yeah, those are our that's our big four. We're gonna go as they go. With Jacob, Colt, and Brody kind of anchoring down that lineup. If they're performing at a high level like they should be, we got a chance to make a run. And then obviously Skylar's kind of taking that leadership role. His first 2 seasons he really didn't have to, just because you had guys like Pokel, Panky, guys like that. So I'm excited though. They've really stepped up this year, where in years past they really didn't have to.
Ryan Fitzpatrick with us. Bartram Trail leads 3-2 here against St. John's Country Day. Hey, what's the value of the preseason? What do you see in getting to play Oakleaf the other night and now St. John's Country Day?
Yeah, I think the big thing is just getting live at bats. Against different arms. It gets kind of repetitive. When you're doing when you continue to do inter squads and stuff like that. So it's good to face up against another team and kind of see different arms and just get ready for the regular season. I
don't know much about Gibbs here, but I've seen some pretty darn good breaking pitches out of him the last couple of innings. A heck of a pitch to get out of the inning and end a potential threat for Bartram Trail. 3-2 is our score after 3.5 innings. What do you got to open up, and what do you expect through the early part? Like, do you set the tone? Obviously, it's a build toward the end. You hope to be there at the end, right, and that's where you want to be playing your best. But how do you control the first couple of weeks of the regular season next week?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So, but we're looking to play. We're looking to win every game we get out here and play. Especially with the new Max Preps rankings, I think it really puts an importance on every single game. You got to win the big games, and you can't lose the teams who you shouldn't lose to. So we're gonna line up next year. We open up against Fletcher Tuesday night at our place. Then we go down and play a really good Lake City Columbia team on Wednesday, and then we host First Coast Friday night.
All right,
got a good little test to start out. I watched the Lake City Columbia team tonight and Monday night, and they're gonna surprise some people. I'll tell you that.
Well, good luck this season. Hey, no heckling up here, man. This is easy up here.
No heckling. I like this. I should probably stay for another. How many more innings we got left? We got like 4 innings left. I could stay up here all day. We just won't talk about no bunting or anything like that.
Well, I was going to say, can you lay a couple down against Barnsley next week? I'd really be happy with that if you could do that.
I might just start the game with a bunt down third base.
I'd
really
appreciate
catch
that.
Surprise, so.
Thank you very much. Ryan Fitzpatrick, thanks for joining us, man. Good luck this 2023 season.
Awesome. Thanks, Brent.
All right, that is Ryan Fitzpatrick, Bartram Trail head coach. We'll keep it here with you until as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. And Robinson stays out there for the Bartram Trail Bears, and he got out of a big jam in that last inning and now gets to face our guy, Hunter Rogers, the catcher for St. John's Country Day, a freshman who's had an interesting night so far. He had a heck of an at-bat. It turned into a walk early in the game and just threw out a runner. Also had a ball sneak through center field that allowed Caleb Allender to score what right now is the differentiator in the scoreboard. It is 3-2 in favor of Bartram Trail. And Robinson delivers right underneath the hands, strike one on Rogers. Kasey Kuhrts back into the fold here. It was nice to have Coach come up and join us. I like these preseason games, though. Just come on up and join us.
Yeah, man, it's convenient. And just right on time to get back in to see another quality at bat coming here.
Took a little bit off that Robinson did, and way out in front was Rogers. It's 0-2. He was in an 0-2 hole the first at-bat and battled back.
He's not phased. Trust me.
It's your
He's battle
guy.
tested. He's not phased again. At some point, the batting gloves are going to come back to hurt him. Hopefully, it's not right now.
Oh, that's hit well to center field, but right at Brody DeLamalure out there. No problem. There's really a light wind out there tonight, but not much. I mean, we've been out here all this afternoon, and I mean, there are windy days, and then there are just calm days. This would be a calm day, even though the flags are moving a little bit. So, pretty good swing that time by Rogers. He looks like he's going to be a good player for St. John's Country Day as just a freshman. But Robinson gets the first out of inning number 4. That brings up Cody Denault back to the plate. A couple of ground outs for Cody.
Yeah, worked a few good counts already, though, in the first 2 at-bats, so he takes one right down the middle right there. But patient hitter from what I've seen in these couple of at-bats here, and he started out patient yet again in his 3rd at-bat. Somebody should tell him it's preseason. Go up there and daddy hack.
I really thought this guy, Cody Denault, in that loaded lineup for St. John's Country Day last year was pivotal. I mean, he ended up hitting over 400, I believe it was, and just delivered big hits as they worked around a lot of the rest of the lineup. He got chances to hit, and he delivered big time for the Spartans. That is strike 2, 1-2 now, as Robinson seems like he's found a bit of a groove.
Yeah, I mean, 1, 2, 3 to the first hitter. Got the fly out, but 2 strikes before that. And now rolling again. Second batter of the inning.
Here's the 1-2, and that is up and out.
They were setting that pitch up. Little veteran move by the catcher there. Throwing a little dirt on the outside earlier in the pitch. See if he can feel him heading out there. They set up that pitch, didn't get the call, but see what they do with it again.
Having some fun here on a Wednesday night, as it's our first ever try at doing some social media baseball broadcast, and that is a foul, and Denault stays alive. Brent Martineau Kasey Kuhrts. Thanks again to Ryan Fitzpatrick for joining us a couple moments ago. Mark Spencer has joined us as well as 44 Pro, is not only in the glove game but the bat game now, as Georgia Tech unveiled that today, and St. John's Country Day swings those bats as well, and that is part of this preseason classic. It's not really a tournament. Each team gets 2 games, but it doesn't go into the weekend. This is just 2 practice games and preseason exhibition games that won't count, and then the real deal starts next week. Hope to be joined by Tom Lucas a little bit later on in the broadcast as well from St. John's Country Day.
Just listening to what Bartram Trail's going to have to go through to start the season. After what I saw from Columbia earlier, wouldn't be too excited about that.
Yeah, they're pretty good. That should be a good matchup next week, as that ball's popped up in fair territory or foul territory. That's pretty close. It's right on the line.
But either way, it was caught.
Yeah, that high pop-up took Jason Kendall. I knew I was going to do that. Jacob Kendall. Jacob Kendall back into fair territory, I think right behind the third base bag, made the catch. Kendall's a guy, actually, it's interesting for Bartram Trail. Again, these guys are so talented. They move all around. Played a lot of outfield last year for Bartram Trail. Played some second base. Now they got him over at third with Colt Myers moving to short. A lot of different ways you can go with some of that top-line talent that Ryan Fitzpatrick has at Bartram Trail. 2 outs, and Robinson's really settled in this inning and coming out of the jam from last inning after giving up 1 run.
Yeah, he's shoving right now. That one got away from him a little bit, didn't break as he anticipated, but real good start to the inning. See if he can cap it off with a little 1-2-3 here, although he's down in the count early.
Seth Alford will be swinging. 2-0 pitch. Once again, the young man by way of University Christian headed to USF once his high school playing days are over. But he's just a junior. That ball outside. Now it's 3-0.
3-0 in the preseason. Pink sleeve and toe. I think we got to be swinging for the fence here. But maybe that's why I'm not a coach, Brent.
Hey, we said this a couple of times. We are bringing you this game and just kind of a little bonus coverage, but
he's
that
swinging
ball's
for the
hit.
fence. He
There
hurt
is
me.
Seth Alford going deep to left center, and Brody DeLamalure is camped under it. Plenty of room out there. That looked like he got a big piece of it, but he went to the deeper part of this field here at St. John's Country Day, and that will do it for St. John's Country Day here in the bottom of the 4th. Bartram Trail clings to a 3-2 lead. We'll tell you about a new show coming up here this spring starting in early March about baseball and softball in the local scene that could land one player from each sport a scholarship Tell you about it when we come back on ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jacks. Welcome back, everybody, here to St. John's Country Day as we have a new pitcher in the game. It's Gavin Bradley for the Spartans of St. John's Country Day. Brent Martineau Kasey Kuhrts, big right-hander, takes the hill as they continue to mix it up and get guys work here in preseason baseball. Bartram Trail leads 3-2, and Jacob Kendall comes to the plate. He's got a pretty left-handed swing. The Florida Gator commit leading off against Gavin Bradley.
I've got a lot of thoughts about Gavin Bradley. The most important one, though, is eye black at night while pitching. This is a bold move. You have to shove if you're going to wear eye black at night while pitching. And so we're going to find out.
Well, he shoves pitch number one for strike number one on a called strike.
Yeah, this is going to be something. Excited to see it. Good matchup here. Not necessarily the guy you want to face when you're coming straight in from the bullpen, and that's what we're already talking about.
Yeah, Hunter Rogers goes out to the pitcher's mound, and probably the first or one of the first times these guys have worked together, Gavin Bradley and Hunter Rogers. I mentioned before the last break, we'll have a new show debuting March 6th on ESPN 690 and right here on all these social media channels. It is called No Gate Fees. We won't charge you to get into that show. March 6th, 7 o'clock until 8 o'clock. We'll do it for 12 weeks during the high school baseball and softball season. It'll highlight high school baseball and softball in the area, and that is taken for strike two by Kendall, and a good start out of the pen for Gavin Bradley.
2 straight fastballs. We'll see what comes here. He's had success with it. Maybe go off speed, but listen, there's something about the eye black that makes me think he's going to try to overpower him here. Although they are having a tough time getting on the same page.
0-2 pitch for Bradley. And he blows it right by Kendall for strike three. Well, you said he had to shove with the eye black coming out of the pen here at night, and he did it.
I'll tell you what. It's only one batter in, but what a choice. Eye black at night. You got it. You have to look like that if you're going to do that. But holy cow, what a first at bat. See if he can back it up, though, because it does not get much easier.
It does not get easy at all as Brody DeLamalure now heads to the plate. Ripped one to center field earlier tonight. That was caught on a sliding catch by Kyle Boylston in center. Bradley to Brody. Strike
it
one,
is
so that's 4 strikes right out of the gate.
All fastballs, too. You love to see it.
It's tough as a hitter, I think, when they rotate so many pitchers in. It's like you can't get used to anything.
There's no feel. Absolutely.
I mean, even if you're sitting in the dugout watching, just trying to pick up the release or the on-deck circle, or really hard to get comfortable.
And listen, if you're coming up to hit to lead off the inning, they bring in a new pitcher and he's got eye black on. I mean, you're just in a.
That's why your Tampa Bay Rays go that staff day every 5th day.
Bro, your mind is just in a blender at that point. You're trying to figure out what's happening. It's dark outside. Is he wearing eye black? Is he shoving past me fastballs? Yes. The answers to all those were yes.
Our show, by the way, on Mondays, March 6th is the debut. Go for 12 weeks, take you through the high school baseball and softball season. We'll highlight local high school baseball and softball, and it is presented by Nimnick Buick GMC. And really looking forward to it. We'll also have a segment on that show called Committed to the Uncommitted, which we did in football season the last couple of years. So we highlight under-recruited players from the area, and we're going to do that in baseball and softball this spring on ESPN 690 and our social media platforms. And at the end of it, we'll have a scholarship, hand out a check for one local baseball and softball player. We're actually handing out the check and doing the presentation from the football season next week on ESPN 690 at Nimnik Buick GMC on Phillips Highway, the 23rd. So looking forward to that. It's kind of a cool program. We appreciate Nimnik for getting behind that and trying to bring a little shine to some of the under-recruited kids in our area. This is all sparked, by the way, from the pandemic when they weren't getting a bunch of attention, and there's a logjam now in the college athletics.
It's been a good segment on Friday nights. Glad we can do it for baseball and softball. I just hope I get invited to the scholarship presentation, Brent.
Maybe.
You know.
Try to bring you a cupcake at the very least.
There's going to be cupcakes and I'm not invited? That's going to be a problem. That is going to be a problem.
Well, this is as good a 2-3-4 in the area as you go Jacob Kendall, Brody DeLamalure, and Colt Myers for Bartram Trail. Kendall struck out swinging against Gavin Bradley. 4-pitch walk for Brody. And now here comes Colt Myers to the plate. That ball taken just inside.
Who we established earlier is definitely not going to get cheated.
Good pitcher's pitch there, but didn't get the call. We've got a 3-2 game. Had a couple of long balls. Had some good action so far. Here tonight in the preseason between Bartram Trail and St. John's Country Down. Now we got a pick. And let's see how you run the early season rundown. If you're St. John's Country Day and they're able to get DeLamalure out on the base paths. Actually, the second runner out on the base path. No, third runner out on the base paths for Bartram Trail here in this game.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I was wrong about the pickoff move. Maybe it is more valuable. But listen, we also see a back pick that goes into center field and a run gets scored.
All right, but I got 3 outs and 1 run scored. I don't know. What's the win there? What does analytics say? I mean, that's like going 4 at bats, right?
Yeah.
1 big swing, 3 Ks. They'll take the 1 big swing.
That's fair. I'll give it to you.
I mean, I think they're nuts, but they'll take it anyway.
You get 3 sequels and no runs.
2 outs here in the top of the 5th. So we're having some fun here on ESPN 690, our Action Sports Jacks channels as well on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. If you like high school baseball, well, you got a good one here. They'll play again in the regular season, by the way, and a lot of the good teams match up. It's what I love about high school baseball and softball in the area. So many good teams, a lot of equal teams, and you get good games just about every night.
Oh,
nice off-speed pitch on 2-0, and Myers was obviously sitting fastball.
very nice.
2-1.
Spotted well, moved outside a bit.
Heck of a game earlier today I went to at the baseball grounds, 121 Financial Ballpark. It was the High School Heritage Classic between Rains and Reball. That was a lot of fun. They had the kids out there from various schools, and they were loud, man. That was a swing and a miss by Colt Myers, and
Same
Bradley
pitch.
has it 2-2.
Same pitch 2 times in a row. Does he do it 3 times in a row, Brent?
We have some of the highlights from today's High School Heritage Classic on my Twitter feed at Brent A.S. Jacks. We'll also show you some highlights coming up tonight on Fox 30 and CBS 47, if I make it back.
Nice Twitter shout out, Brent. It's almost like people don't follow you. And just to confirm, he did not go the same pitch 3 straight times.
Watch out for the cars in the parking lot as Myers sends one back. 2-2. 2 outs. Nobody on as DeLamalure was picked off the base paths.
Going back to the off speed here, right?
I got to believe it, right? It's been effective. Set him up, maybe. Here's the pitch, and that one's in the dirt. Good layoff by Colt.
A lot of quality at bats. That's the one thing that's different from when I played high school baseball. There's 3 pitches. We're either hitting a home run or we're striking out. Those are the only options. But, I mean, this has just been a clinic of taking pitches, fighting for both teams.
Tucked in white shirts and no gloves.
Tell you what, it's kind of rowdy for a preseason game. I kind of like it. Good intensity out here. Not crazy intensity, but good intensity. Here comes a 3-2, and that is swung on and missed. There's that off-speed pitch. That's brilliant. Gavin Bradley fired up. I mean, look how pumped up he is. What are we, in early May?
Again, you can't come out here wearing eye black if you're not going to be that hype. Like, that's the only option. So he played the part well. He also shoved. I think this guy gets an A+ for the night.
We're grading. We'll see what Tom Lucas has to say as we could be joined by Tom Lucas here in just a couple of moments. 3-2 game. Bartram Trail leads with St. John's Country Day coming up in the bottom of the 5th. Hey, we welcome you back to St. John's Country Day here on all the social media channels for Action Sports Shacks, ESPN 690 as well. Brent Martineau Kasey Kuhrts here on a beautiful Wednesday night in Orange Park at St. John's Country Day. Place looks fantastic. 4 games this week. Columbia and Oakleaf also part of the preseason festivities here at St. John's Country Day. Had a home run derby earlier today. I believe Columbia was the winner of the home run derby. That was a lot of fun. And had a little bit more of home run derby early in this game as Kalen Pokel went yard in the second inning, 2-run shot. Kyle Boylston answered with a solo shot right near the scoreboard. That made it 2-1 at the time. It's 3-2. St. John's Country Day 1 run short at the moment of Bartram Trail as they come to bat in the bottom of the 5th. And we're joined by the head coach of St. John's Country Day Baseball, Tom Lucas. And we appreciate you having us out, by the way, Coach, and also good to have baseball season underway.
Yeah, it's great. Glad you guys could be out here, and great weather and 2 good opponents here. Can't beat this.
Hey, we just saw Gavin Bradley jump off the mound like it was late April, early May, man. Get fired up.
Yeah, I mean, when you face this quality of a lineup, and I told him, you're going in for 2, 3, 4 Bartram Trail, that's pretty hard. So for that senior, that was good for him.
Well, tell us a little bit about your team. Obviously, we talked about earlier in the broadcast. You got to replace a lot. I mean, you talk about 2, 3, 4 for them. You had 1, 2, 3 for you with 3 of the best with Brad Hodges, Jordan Taylor, and Finn Howell, all now playing at Virginia, Florida State, and UNF, and they get going this weekend in the college ranks. That you don't replace that, right? You try to do it in a different way, I guess.
And that's exactly right. That's what we're telling them. I don't need you to be Brad Hodges. You're not going to be that guy. It's really hard to replace that. You know, you got guys. I mean, he's going to be pitching for Virginia. Finn, I think he said he's going to be starting at third for UNF, and then Jordan's in a battle, probably going to get some time in the outfield. So we've just told our guys, you just got to come in here and do your job, compete, win at bats.
Well, you got some guys like Kyle Boylston, who obviously put a good swing on that, made a nice play in center field as well. And you know, you look around, Cody Denault played a lot last year for you, was really good in your lineup, maybe one of those unheralded guys in your lineup. Sean Andrade, USA. I mean, you've got plenty of talent out on the field. Now it's just about seeing how much that talent probably rises to the top,
yeah,
right?
I mean, I think we can go toe-to-toe with anybody talent-wise. I mean, I think we've got 9 commitments. I mean, we've got 11 seniors, you know. So, we've got a really experienced team. It's just you got to be the man. You know, that's what we're trying to replace is who's going to step up that leadership role. There's been a big void in that, so that's been good with Sean Andre. The guy who started on the mound, Jacob Thomas, he's been a kid who's been here since he was in the 6th grade at UNF, left-handed pitcher. So we got some guys, Cody and Kyle, you mentioned. They both hit over 400 last year in their 10th grade season.
There's a hard hit ball to the left side. It can't be fielded, and that'll be first and second for St. John's Country Day. And that was Sean right there, I believe, right? Yeah. So good to see he was okay. He got hit in the head early on.
He did, and it was scary. When me and you played it, we didn't have to worry about this. He has an earring, and so that's what it actually hit him in the side where he has an earring.
Oh, wow.
And it cut the ear, so blood's pouring out of his ear. We're getting scared, but it was more just because of the piercing.
He got cut. Okay.
So I get to evaluate my assistant coach here. We're down by 1. We got first and second, no outs. If it's regular season, we're probably bunting here. So this is going to be interesting what he does.
You said what? You're going to bunt here?
In regular season, Bartram in a 1-run game, and we just hit into a double play, maybe a triple play. Oh, we threw it away into the stands. That's going to score the guy from second.
Yeah, what's the rule there?
Oh,
just one base.
Yeah, just one base.
Did that ball go out of play? I can't see down the line there. Second and third, though, so still an opportunity. That could have been not so good.
So
what do you try to get out?
If you would have bunted, it works out, right?
Yeah. Yeah, true. It worked out kind of the same way. What do you try to get out of these couple of games?
I'm really testing guys. I want what I tell the guys is we're going to play everybody. We're going to pitch. All our pitchers are going to pitch, and you're earning trust. You're not getting cut or losing innings and stuff like that because we're still going to be doing that all the way to spring break. But you can what Gavin Bradley just did. That kind of moves you up in the totem pole.
Makes a lot of sense. You guys played a rigorous, crazy schedule last year. You had national events where you really showcased this program. I don't think you're doing that this year. You've backed off the schedule a little bit. I don't know if you could play a schedule as hard as you just did.
Right. No, unless you're IMG, you couldn't. We didn't get invited back to Cary, because that's more for draft guys and stuff like that. So that put us against 4 national powers. We're still going to LaGrange, so we're going to see some really good teams up there. And then we're going up to Georgia with Bartram, and we're going to play Lowndes and another Georgia team that made it to the Final Four. So we still got a really competitive schedule. What I learned last year was we saw 90 miles an hour 20-plus times.
Wow.
But what beat us was 72.
Yeah, I was there for that.
So we needed a little bit of balance, that you got to kind of see it all.
That's a very interesting point. Everybody gears up for that 90-plus, and those soft lefties can sometimes deal, and that ball gets away. We're going to be all tied up.
Man, and he was running on the pitch. We have the shortest backstop in baseball, and so we just worked on this yesterday. If you're not moving when the ball is leaving his hand and seeing the trajectory going down, you can't go.
You're not going to make it.
I mean, by the time I looked, he was full speed. I knew he had it.
Kyle Boylston there scores the run, and we're all tied up here at St. John's Country Day, 3-3. I guess with Kyle, Sean, some others, you get some pretty good speed.
Yeah, no, and Seth is crazy fast too. No, we got a lot of speed. We're athletic. We play really good defense. So it's going to be fun. I mean, I told the guys I'm probably more excited this year than I am what I was last year. I didn't do anything. I just sat back and no signals. Green lights. Everybody go when you want to. I mean, when you got that much talent, you really don't want to overmanage it. You want to just get out of their way. I feel like I get to push some buttons and stuff this year.
The baseball scene around here well. Obviously, we feel like we know it pretty well too, with the Dodgers scout team in the summer, with what you're doing here, with all the teams that you guys play. There's such great talent. I mean, how good is it right now in Northeast Florida? Even if you go back a couple of years, obviously each year shifts a little bit. Maybe there was a little bit more pitching talent 2 years ago or last year or whatever, but overall, I mean, look at Bartram. You go Florida State commit. You got 9 commits. It's just amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's just tremendous talent in Northeast Florida, and that's what we've been saying. If you pool all the best talent in Northeast Florida together in one team each class, I mean, you could go play anybody in the country. Yeah. You can go take down the East Cobs and stuff like that. A lot of those teams come down here and poach our players. But yeah, there's some really good. Bartram's going to be one of those teams. Lineup-wise, they've got some guys, and Skylar Sanford who threw the other night. Columbia, who played in the earlier game.
Columbia's really sleepy good, aren't they?
Oh, I don't know how sleepy.
Well, I think from our perspective, just because they're on the outskirts of town, but I don't think people look at their football program, right, and talk about it. I don't think everybody knows about Columbia, how good they are baseball-wise.
Yeah, they're going to learn pretty quick. That's a team that I would kind of they're going to be a Final Four type team. They're really, really good. And then it's going to be interesting. Some of the other kind of powers, like Clay, is always good, but they're replacing a lot of really good guys, and I think he's got a young squad. Bishop Kinney, is going to be really good. First Coast High School. He's got some really good players there. So.
All right, let's go. Coach him up here. What do you got? We got a first and third situation, 3-3 game, bottom of the 5th against Bartram Trail. 1 out. J.D. Hay at the plate, facing Jake Malik, who's in a little bit of a situation. If you're over at third and not here in the booth with us, what are you doing?
Well, this is what we run a lot, is a safety squeeze. and you're really just trying to push it down towards first. You know, the third baseman's coming in on the play, so our runners were training as and I hope guys aren't listening to this. As the third baseman comes in, the runner's going to keep
just go with him, right?
You go with him, and then it doesn't take as perfect a bunt, but you really want to push it down. You don't have to go. A lot of times you can hang out. They're rotating here, so this is also interesting. So now you can bunt it at the first baseman on this because no one's going to be covering the bag.
Yeah, you might end up at first if it's a good one, but not that that's what you're trying to do. Instead, JD takes one right in the square of the back, and now the bases are loaded. Again, we were talking to you a little bit about this time of year. Do you try to make sure you can practice some of those things, or are you afraid to show your hand as well?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of both. I mean, we're probably not doing everything, but you still want to put these guys in those situations because I'm trying to see who can do that, you know. You work on it in practice, but this is so much faster in the games. Like, that's what we learned yesterday in the first inning Monday against Columbia. The speed of the game. There's just no way to simulate that in practice.
All right, Ryan Fitzpatrick coming out to the mound to have a conversation. Who do you have coming up to the plate
this
here?
This is a 10th grader, Nick Bowden. You know, so this is gonna be a big moment for him. You know, so this was already predetermined. He was already in the game after Isaiah got his 2 at bats, one of our starters. So this is a guy who, you know, is either battling to be on the varsity squad or be a JV guy. And so this is what preseason's about. You know, he's got good swing. Athletic kid from the left side here, you know, so we're trying to teach him how to be a left-handed hitter at the St. John's Park. But yeah, this will be a big moment for him.
Our favorite guy of the week, we'll let you comment on him, and then or favorite guy of the night, Hunter Rogers behind the plate. He's a freshman. I don't know much about him, but had a terrific at-bat in his first at-bat. Also threw out a runner. I know he made the mistake throwing through center field, but he seems like he's going to be a nice player for you.
Defensively as good as anybody. I mean,
really?
Last year as an 8th grader, he caught Brad Hodges in the bullpen. If you can do that, I mean, you're phenomenal. So defensively, he's as good as anybody. He's a freshman, and so we're trying to get him to buy into just being a line drive hitter. He's actually a switch hitter, and he hits better from the right side, but he doesn't see any left-handed guys. He actually taught himself how to swing left-handed during the COVID shutdown, so it's kind of a new thing for him, but very talented player that we're really excited to have. And that's a problem for us. We got 3 great catchers. Some people don't have a catcher. We're sitting here. We got Mason Terry, who's a senior, who will come in here at the end and catch. We've George Gilson caught the whole game the other night, who's really good. Had 2 hits, had a 2-out RBI off of the UCF commit for for Columbia. So that was good to see. And so then put Hunter in here. So it's a battle for catcher.
All right. They've gone to the bullpen with Colt Myers coming in. I think they're going to use him in a closer kind of high leverage role this season. And, well, here he is. And you talk about a test for the sophomore. Get to go against, I don't know how fast Colt's throwing right now, but it'll be right around the 90-mile-an-hour mark.
This is going to be a challenge. You know, this might be one that you're probably going to take until you get a strike, you know, is what you're hoping that he does. Get on top of the plate. Maybe he misses in, and it's just going to hurt for 5 minutes or so. This is where you have the talk of welcome to varsity baseball.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
Face this Florida commit in your first varsity at bat.
That is amazing you said that, though. Last year, over 20 guys throwing 90 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just sick how much that happens now. And Myers, obviously, a Florida commit. He can play anywhere, too. I mean, he played third for much of his early part of his career at Bartram. He's moved to short. I said earlier in the broadcast, I think he could play the outfield at the next level because he's really turned himself into a heck of an athlete.
Right.
Runs the 60 really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's worked really hard. And you probably would have thought he projected more as a pitcher. And then in talking to Florida, I mean, they like him at the plate. I mean, they really like his bat. He does, you know, he's playing shortstop now, but yeah, he could play a lot of positions. And then you could probably run him down here and do this at Florida.
Absolutely. A legit two-way guy, which they like these days. All right, let's let you hang for this at bat, and then we'll let you get back downstairs. We appreciate you jumping in
here
on the show.
Spot for me right here.
I was going to say, you know, I told Fitzpatrick, you don't get heckled here in this spot.
Right.
Of course, you're at home. That's okay. It's great atmosphere here for a preseason game, and bases loaded, 1 out. Myers' first pitch. That's just straight gas to the sophomore.
He does. Yeah, comes in here. He's been in this moment many times, and Nick Bowden, welcome to it. So this is going to be interesting. This is where, as a coach, you probably wouldn't have done this if this was regular season in a big leverage situation, but, you know, it's preseason.
Good hack there by Bowden, but Myers gets the better of it. 0-2 count here with the bases loaded, 1 out, and now you're just two-strike approach trying to put it in play, right?
Yeah. And it's blown away there. So maybe Hunter Rogers, the freshman. So we'll see.
Yeah.
So he gets to go 10th grader, 9th grader coming up. So.
Heck of a job by Colt Myers coming in that spot, though. Just
Yeah.
goes and delivers strikes, says, hey, see if you can hit it.
Yeah, no,
And-
and I mean he's a competitor. I mean this is a guy you want him in these situations. He wants the ball in these situations. So as a opposing coach, you hate to see a kid like this go to the mound because you know it's going to be tough here.
Absolutely. All right, we'll let you get back downstairs. Appreciate you taking a few minutes. Thanks for having us
Thanks
out
for
here at
having
St.
me.
John's Country Day. It's been a lot of fun. Tom Lucas in the booth with us here on ESPN 690 and our Action Sports Shacks channels as we have a heck of a baseball game here in the preseason. 3-3. I thought we had moved it to 4-3, and I missed something, but I think they bounced it
Yeah.
back to 3-3, so we were correct. And here is Rogers now against Myers, and that's high, ball one.
Now this right here is what I've been waiting for all game. The homie Hunter Rogers, who I don't know at all, in a big-time opportunity. Again, batting glove's a problem, but can't wait to see how this plays itself out.
The 1-0 is just under the hands and hard heat by Colt Myers.
Yeah, Colt is chucking it. I'll be real with you.
He's
There's-
just rearing back and throwing. Nothing breaking here. It's just firm and fast for Colt Myers here in a 1-1 count. Bases loaded here in the bottom of the fifth. That ball was taken inside by Rogers.
I
Not
kinda,
by much.
Yeah, not by much. I kind of forgotten about in high school that you just grab your shortstop and you're like, hey, let's go. You're pitching now. I love that part of it, though.
So here's a 2-1. That is upstairs and high. So now Colt in a little bit of trouble. Needs a strike. 3-1 pitch. Bases loaded. 2 outs. Hunter Rogers thinking, hey, if it's right down Main Street, take a hack. If not, I'll get another chance.
He's been good at taking close pitches tonight. He's been fighting pitches off as well. We'll see what he does here. He takes another one high.
That one got away, and Hunter Rogers has been in the middle of everything, it feels like, here
Love
today
this
for
kid.
St. John's Country Day, and he drives in the go-ahead run as Sean Andrade touches home plate on a bases-loaded walk. Myers come in, done a fantastic job, got 1, 2, 3, and then the first strike, and the second one was close. Hunter Rogers took it, got the call, and that turned into 4 straight pitches. It ends up bringing in the go-ahead run, 4-3 now.
And a great job, by the way, not to get over anxious, right? You're seeing heat. You think you can catch up to it. Just sit on it and wait. And if it's not in the strike zone, hey.
Here comes Cody Denault now to face Myers. And that is up in the
That
zone
is
for
high.
strike one. Denault didn't like it.
The fans are upset. They're probably,
Hey, it's
Probably have
early
a
for
reason
the
to be.
umps. Hard to tell high and low from up here.
I don't know, Brent.
And
was
that ball
high.
gets away. But as Tom Lucas was just telling us, Kellen Brown really has no chance there on third to score. It's a very short backstop. So you've got to read it and go, or you're staying home. And what do I always tell you,
If
Casey?
you hesitate, don't go.
If you hesitate, don't go. It's like a yellow light.
But it's like a yellow light. But it's also an advantage that they can have because, as you heard them talk about, they coach a specific way to run the bases, and that's something that they can use that a visiting teams can't as we take another pitch high.
2-1 now, 4-3 game. Cody Denault at the plate. Plenty of experience for Cody. He was in the middle of that lineup for St. John's Country Day. As Tom Lucas said, they saw some guys throwing velo all last year, so this is nothing new. But
This
for-
would-
you know
that-
what? February velo is a little bit different than like late March velo.
That would have made the whole game if we had a pickoff attempt at third base.
Nice pitch. That is strike 2, so it's 2-2. Really good spot by Colt Myers there. Inner half of the plate. So here we go, 2-2, 2 outs, 4-3 game as St. John's Country Day has pushed across a couple of runs to take the lead. Bases loaded, Myers against Denault, and a nice preseason classic matchup. And that is strike 3. A look at the dugout, a fist pump from Myers, and he walks off the field after 2 strikeouts coming in and getting Denault to end the 5th inning. We go to the top of the 6th here on ESPN 690 Action Sports Shacks. Special thanks to the coaches for stopping by here tonight, Tom Lucas and Ryan Fitzpatrick, and we'll be right back here on Action Sports Shacks and ESPN 690 social media channels. can't fire up the audio guys yet while I'm still eating. That's a nice welcome back to St. John's Country Day here on this very professional broadcast on ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jacks. Brent Martineau Kasey Kuhrts. Cody DeDault now on the mound. Does a little bit of everything for St. John's Country Day. He can chuck it now. Very effective out there as a lefty for the Spartans. Meanwhile, Brett Carter comes to the plate for Bartram Trail for the first time.
Unlucky for Brett. He knows he's leading off the inning, and then they put in a lefty to face the lefty. That's
it's all in your head, man.
Nope. It's
Whatever.
actually real life. It's just
Just
unlucky.
go drill it the other way.
And he might. But it's still unlucky.
Top of the sixth we go. Once again, friendly reminder, if you're watching us here on social media channels as we broadcast this game, thanks again to our, Mark Spencer and 44 Pro, gloves and bats now after tonight. Thanks again to Nimnik Buick GMC, who will be a title sponsor of our baseball and softball show coming up starting March 6th on ESPN 690 and all these social media channels as we will talk about local baseball and softball. It's called No Gate Fees.
You're really excited.
Free to enter.
Yep. Also, shout out to Aaron Schachter, who's been monitoring the stream on ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jacks.
Listen to him tomorrow morning on 96.9 The Eagle, and then tomorrow afternoon on Brent and Friends on ESPN 690.
He'll be in both of those locations.
We will promote anybody right now.
Will we?
Even you, overtime with Kurtz and Middleton.
Thanks, buddy.
Weeknights at 6. The Costco Kirkland Peanuts. Want a little shout out to them, too.
Super extra large. Not normal sized. Super extra large.
Brett Carter with a walk to lead things off here in the top of the sixth. Here's the deal. This first ever broadcast for us may not get to the finish line.
You're getting really worried about the clock now, huh?
The clock is ticking. It's 9:30. I've got to be on TV at 10:50.
You're pushing 40 minutes to get to the station.
No, I got plenty of time. But I don't know if I have 2 innings worth of time. Although actually right now, things hold. It could be 9 outs left.
Yeah.
But we're going to need Cody to probably find the strike zone.
It would help you. Yep. You could always go live, Brent. You have the technology.
I could go live. I do have all the technology right here.
You could go live for the end of the game. What a moment that would be for the Fox 30 viewers.
Could do that, but then I'd be afraid they might shut the lights off, guys. This is what goes through my head. I got to be live at 11:25 again.
Well,
can they keep the lights on? I don't know if they will.
Maybe you bit off more than you could chew here.
Headlights. Here's a 2-1 pitch fouled back. This is Dom Cantona, another freshman for Bartram Trail. We'll throw over and a lob. See, sometimes you know what happens there? I just don't think the pitcher's ready to go.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I'm just going to take a little extra breather.
Yeah. You could always just step off. But listen, you got to get an extra toss in. Not warm enough, I'm with it.
Why not?
Got to keep him honest.
Here's a 2-2 check swing, fouled away, first base side.
And that was a check swing that was never obviously meant to be a swing, but also that thing just kept breaking into the bat.
That was a nasty
had to
pitch.
hit it.
You know, I've been pretty impressed overall with the quality of play here in the preseason from a lot of the teams.
It's been quality baseball, Brent.
Yeah, especially defensively. People field the ball pretty well. I would think early in the year you might have a little trouble defensively with the live action. But overall, I think it's been good tonight. I've seen some games already this week where I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, center field, couple of nice plays by both teams. I told you I was impressed with the catchers and their handling of the game and just the arm strength and all of that put together. So you've had a lot of good defensive plays, a couple of balls that left the yard, pretty much all you'd want from a baseball game.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of everything, haven't we?
A little bit of everything.
And right now we have 4-3, 3-2 count. Denault delivers, and strike 3 with a high fastball that's swung and missed by Dominic Cantona. That's 1 out in the top of the 6th. We are getting to the benches as Finn Huber, a sophomore for Bartram Trail, gets up to the plate for the first time. And Tom Lucas and Ryan Fitzpatrick told us that. They'll get some guys in the game and utilize this preseason action. St. John's Country Day wanted a strike call on the inside. It came really close to hitting Huber.
It really did.
Like I thought it might have.
That thing just kept cutting.
But they're closer than me.
That's been the highlight of the inning so far, that everything just keeps cutting more and more into the right-handed hitters. Pretty impressive. Also for Finn, by the way, classic black Evo Shield sleeve. Gotta love it on the right arm. Classic, Brent.
Classic. Throw to first and high over there. And J.D. Hay able to gather it. J.D. for St. John's Country Day, another guy that will play all over the place. He'll pitch. He'll play first. He can play the left side of that infield as well. Heck, you can put him in the outfield if you need him. And that ball almost air-mailed over to first as well. You almost get the sense that Cody just wants to work on it because the rudder wasn't even off the bag.
Yeah, back-to-back.
Just wants to practice the throw over there.
Yeah.
Actually isn't a bad idea.
Yeah, when you come back with something like that, I mean.
That's not a bad idea either.
That's not a bad idea. Also, I think Cody might have heard that you have to be somewhere relatively soon, so he's going to take his time and make sure he's working on the throw for first.
Kick it into gear. 2-1 pitch now. One up here in the sixth, and another throw over to first.
Got to keep him honest.
Here's Denault on the 2-1, and that is another swing and a miss by Huber to even the count at 2-2. Fastball's been effective.
Yeah, see, I think if I'm Cody here, you just kind of go away from the throws over to first and just throw that same thing a bit up in the zone. Probably get the swing and miss.
Here's the 2-2, and that is in the same spot. Basically nailed the same spot and got Huber swinging for out number 2 here in the top of the sixth.
Just rear back and go. Nothing fancy.
That brings up Kalen Pokel, and you know what Pokel did in his first at-bat back in the second inning. It was a 2-run home run, just cleared the wall in left field, and that put the Bartram Trail Bears on the board. They led 2-0. They've led 3-1, but in the last inning, St. John's Country Day took the lead 4-3. That's where we stand here in the sixth.
Outside of the fact that my man went tank earlier in the game, which I'm a big fan of, just the consistency from the helmet to the shoes, the pants, the batting gloves, all white. Gotta love it when it's consistent.
I did not know we were going here tonight, folks. In terms of fashion guru Kasey Kuhrts.
Call, did you see it, Brent?
It's got the, what is that, a $sign chain you got?
This is a $100 gold piece. Yeah,
oh,
no
okay,
big deal.
$100.
No big deal.
A little Joe Burrow swag going.
No big deal.
Speaking of swag, how about Cody Denault?
And by the way, no big deal on that pitch on the inside corner.
He is starting to pump it.
It's pretty legit.
That was a heck of a pitch right there. That's a tough spot.
Yeah, you're not doing nothing with that.
He stuck with the fastball, too. He had some good movement on what I assume is a slider. Here's the 1-2, and he goes away there. That's a heck of a pitch. Look how fired up Cody Denault and St. John's Country Day is. I mean, this is crazy kind of juice in this preseason game on a Wednesday.
He should be fired up after those last two batters. My goodness.
Bartram Trail and St. John's Country Day talking to each other a little bit. Welcome to high school baseball 2023. We'll be back here on ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jacks. We go to the bottom of the sixth. Colt Byers returns to the mound. St. John's Country Day returns to the plate when we come back. Hey, welcome back here to St. John's Country Day. We go to the bottom of the sixth inning, 4-3. Spartans lead it over the Bears. Brent Martineau Kasey Kuhrts. We've been joined by Ryan Fitzpatrick, Bartram Trail head coach. We appreciate it. Tom Lucas, St. John's Country Day head coach. We appreciate that. And Mark Spencer helping us put this show on today from 44 Pro and helping putting on this preseason classic between not only these two teams, but Columbia and Oakleaf as well. Colt Myers on the mound against Seth Alford. These guys playing the same team for the Florida Dodgers scout team in the summer, squaring off to start the bottom of the sixth. Myers throws the breaking pitch. I think that might be the first time we've seen a breaking pitch from Colt.
Yeah, I think so, and it looks just like the fastball coming out of the hand, and then it just broke out. Lucky to not get that call there if you're hitting.
Here's the 1-1, and that is a bit high, 2-1. Getting word that Colt Myers hit 95 on the gun downstairs in the last inning in that high leverage spot. That's a high fastball taken for a strike. Alford didn't like it.
Again, Brent, it's got to be consistent. Just threw that pitch a pitch before, and it was a ball.
2-2. I'll tell you what, that's a tough one to hit. Here comes Myers now. 2-2 against Alford. Good matchup. Florida against USF, excuse me. Bulls wouldn't like I just said that. Myers goes high with it, 3-2. He delivers and swung on and missed, and a nice grab behind the dish as well to hang on to it because I think there was a little bit of a foul tip, and that will be out number one of the bottom of the sixth inning.
Colt was a little chirping over to the dugout after that, walking around.
There's plenty of chirping going on when you come to high school baseball games. These guys have been giving it to each other for a preseason game the last couple innings as we get these high leverage spots later in the game. That went up and in. Got some commotion down there.
It's the preseason.
We really can't see what's going on,
but here's what we can tell you is as Colt was getting ready to go and started winding a little bit, the umpire was looking back to see what was being yelled or what was happening there, and that could have been a dangerous situation as hard as Colt throws. Just not what you want to see. Again, just a little reminder, preseason. But, looks like everything's going to be okay.
Listen, it's like I said, we see this a lot in the high school baseball scene now, and this was more, I think, parental from what we can understand. So, come on. It's preseason. Just get your work in. Good competition. Two really good teams and programs. We don't need anything like that going on.
And this is really not going to help the
we might get this in the summer and travel ball or a little bit later on in the districts or the playoffs, but kind of surprising to see it here in the preseason. We really don't know exactly what transpired, and probably better we don't. But I think we're going to get back to some action here in the bottom of the sixth, 1-1 game. As I always tell some of the parents that I'm around, don't make me lead the newscast with you. I'm trying to get back. But hopefully you're not my lead story.
You don't want to be. You don't want to be in that situation, and, let's keep it about the kids, right, Brett?
Terry at the plate once again. Mason Terry, who's gone behind the plate to finish off this game for St. John's Country Day, and that is a strike. I've lost track of count. Is it just 1-1? Is that just a second pitch?
I believe it's
1-2. 1-2. So Colt Myers out on the hill, and he is ahead in the count, 1-2. One out here at the bottom of the sixth.
Long set.
This does not feel like a middle of February preseason
Just about
game.
to say that. It was on the tip of my tongue.
That one upstairs, 2-2.
This does not have a feel of anything other than something that would be a trophy handed out at the end.
Yeah.
And as far as I understand it, no trophy handed out at the end.
I don't think so.
The only thing that'll be handed out is, does Brent make it to his sportscast on time? And as of now, it's looking like a no.
The off-speed pitch just misses low for Colt Myers. It's a beautiful pitch as long as he can command it. And once you're pumping low 90s to mid-90s, which he's hit 95 today, according to the folks downstairs.
I also
that
think
breaking pitch is a tough one.
if you're pumping mid-90s, maybe stay with it, as he does.
Yeah, he does there, and he gets on the outside corner, and Terry swings and misses. So another strikeout for Colt Myers. As long as he controls it, he looks really good. Ran into a little bit of trouble in the last inning when he lost control for a couple of batters.
A little bit of a conversation between Colt Myers and the coaching staff for St. John's Country Day.
Here comes Kyle Boylston to the plate, who's had a really nice night. Solo home run, nice catch out in center field. He's been on the bag a couple of times, and I think he scored the tying run back in the fifth inning. He did. Well, we had Tom Lucas in
It's true.
on that wild pitch.
Had an incredible secondary lead off third base,
Yeah, he
and that's
did.
the advantage they have, knowing the backstop, coaching it up. Sure, it will not be the only run they score this year with that little bit of an advantage.
2 outs in the bottom of the sixth, and that one is probably fast, but also high.
Definitely fast, but also definitely high.
2-0 count to Boylston, who once again, well documented, we said, plays for Trinity Christian Football, had a breakout year. Really good-looking athlete who's got some offers to play football. Heck of a baseball player, too. Seen him play quite a bit. And he can track it down out in center field. Terrific pitch by Myers on the inside corner, gets the call, 2-1. And Colt reared back and threw a fastball, and Kyle put a good swing on it. Just couldn't connect. I would think we'll see much of the same right here.
Yeah, but that breaking stuff is nasty.
And there it is.
Stay with it.
Colt Myers talking to the St. John's Country Day team as he strikes out another Spartans batter. Bartram Trail comes to the plate with 3 more outs to go as they trail 4-3 against St. John's Country Day. This thing's getting intense here out in Orange Park between Bartram Trail and St. John's Country Day. We'll be right back here on ESPN 690 and our Action Sports Shack social media channels. Hey, welcome back here to the top of the 7th inning as Trevor Bradley comes into the game for St. John's Country Day to face Jesse Morrell. He gets him swinging on pitch number 1 as we've got an intense preseason game here on our Action Sports Shacks, ESPN 690 social media channels. And Trevor Bradley with some nasty stuff, a little frisbee there to go to 0-2 coming out of the pen. He's good in this role as well. He's done this before. Brent Martineau Kasey Kuhrts. Good to be along here on this Wednesday night for preseason baseball.
I'm not surprised he's good in this role because the arm angle's a little different. You throw the little spin and stuff, running away. Did it again right there. 3 pitches, 3 strikes. That's an out.
And that's how you come out of the pen, too. Throwing some strikes, getting ahead, and gets the first out of inning number 7. And what has really boiled into a pretty intense matchup between two of the top programs. A lot of good competition going on and maybe a lot of not so good trash talking in the last inning and a half or so.
Brent, I played a lot of games at Palmetto High School that actually meant something. Never one was as intense as this. So
I tell you, I try to tell people all the time, go to baseball games in high school now, and this is what you get. They like to compete. They don't mind yapping at each other either. And you know who can't handle it the most? The people on the outside.
I think we saw that a couple minutes ago.
For some reason, the kids in the dugout don't mind it, but not the folks on the outside. 2-0 pitch. And that taken low. This is Luke Labby, who we had Ryan Fitzpatrick on earlier. Talked about this young man and terrific young player at Bartram Trail, freshman. And we'll see what he can do at the varsity level, but he's going to get his chances for the Bears. 3-0 here to Labby, and he takes strike 1. Again, we had a good baseball game so far. Preseason game, you can get some sloppy stuff. We've had some balls and some walks, but nothing crazy. I think even once it got away from some of the pitchers, they kind of reeled it back in, as we're seeing right now with Trevor Bradley. 3-0 count. Now he's gone back with 2 strikes. It's 3-2. And Labby's got everything he can handle here to try to avoid out number 2 of the 7th inning.
Everything he can handle, and you've seen not only in that first at-bat, you saw a lot of stuff that was spinning, now back to the fastball a little bit in this at-bat. Seen a lot of everything. I would not want to be in the batter's box right now because I have no idea what's coming.
Both teams up in the dugout and watching this one, and that is Trevor Bradley, strike 3, and some fist pumps. I have never seen so many fist pumps and so much energy coming off the mound in a preseason game as this one. It's fantastic. As we were just reminded, this does not count. This game.
Don't tell them.
But you know what? Hey, like competing. They like competing. Now, these are 2 of the best. 2 outs now. Last chance. And here's Jacob Kendall, who, by the way, especially at this park, but most any park, he can tie this puppy up with 1 swing, no problem.
Probably the guy you want to have at the plate right now in this moment, not only to, try to tie it up, but just keep the game alive.
It is a check swing and a line drive, and that's the game. And Trevor Bradley finishes it off. A few more words from each team, and that will do it here in our exciting preseason game of the week on our Action Sports Shacks and ESPN 690 social media channels. And now both teams will shake hands and probably talk on Snapchat later. That's what happens these days.
You sound so old, dude. Like, talking about Snapchat.
What, Snapchat? That's what they do.
Yeah, I mean.
Like, look, this is fine. Giving each other hugs.
This is great.
I'm telling you, this is what happens. They yap for 3 innings straight. Look like they want to fight each other.
And guess what?
And then go shake hands and
no fights,
probably snap each other.
No fights breaking out. I see him hugging. I mean, this is fine. Everything is okay. Crisis averted. Situation normal.
We can't
out here.
Yeah. The parents now, watch out.
I'm going to try to get out of here before some of those fights break.
All right, I'm going to try to get out of here too. Hey, that was a lot of fun. Thanks to Mark Spencer, Jason Maloney for helping us out here with this technology here at St. John's Country Day and helping make it work. I think we're going to do this again. It was a lot of fun, and I think we can dial it up and do some more games throughout the course of the season. We appreciate Tom Lucas and everybody at St. John's Country Day for making it happen. Had Brent and Friends on ESPN 690 out here 3 to 6. Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton right after that, and then we broadcast this game here on social media. And don't forget to follow us all season long on social media for all things Action Sports Shacks on CBS 47, Fox 30, and ESPN 690. One more friendly reminder, we will debut a new baseball-softball show coming up on March 6th, 7 o'clock weekly on Mondays. It's called No Gate Fees. And hope you can join us for that show as we highlight local baseball and softball in the area for about 12 weeks, the entire spring season. For Kasey Kuhrts and everybody that helped put this thing together, I'm Brent Martineau. Bartram Trail and St. John's Country Day with a good preseason game to kick things off. Now it's on to the regular season for those teams and just about every team in the area. That all begins next week. St. John's Country Day ekes out the win here at home, 4-3 over Bartram Trail. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you on TV in just a bit if we make it.